Like many of you, I've seen this video on Candace's show, a woman quoting the Bible, using the Bible as a tool, as a technique to influence someone else's behavior. You might even say they're using it as a weapon. And I've been working on starting to make videos. At first, I thought I would make videos on how to learn Latin. Then now I'm working on videos translating the Latin Vulgate. Jerome wrote the Latin Vulgate in 300 AD. The Catholic Bible today is translated using Church Latin from the 14th century. Now, Jerome wrote in 300. Why do we need a new language 1,000 years later to translate him? We don't. And the question is, why? Why was the new dictionary written? Was it descriptive of how it was being understood at that time? Or was it prescriptive how we should understand it going forward? I can't speak to motivation, but I can understand the Latin and well, let's hear Candace first, and then I'll talk about the Latin.
Can confirm it's real. Erica Kirk can confirm it's real that Charlie Kirk received this. Let's read this, okay? All of the people that trusted you, Jews and Christians, including me, why would you platform anti-Semites like Candace and Tucker? There are many evangelical Christian Zionists who would never give these people the opportunity to spew their hatred. I'm one of them. You say people are accusing you of being an anti-Semite because you disagree with the Israeli government. Well, what is it exactly that you disagree with? You threatened Jews and Christians with your 30 million followers. Are you kidding? Be very careful, Charlie. You are in violation of the 9th commandment by bearing false witness against your brother Judah. When was the last time you read your Bible, Charlie? I'm coming to you as a believer. Genesis 12:3. Obadiah and many more prophets warn that those who curse Israel will be cursed. Your TPUSA.
Now, if we're going to quote the Bible, I think that we should understand what it's saying. Let's look at Genesis 12. Now, the lady in the text is referring to chapter 12, line 3. I'm going to start at the top and read through line 3. The beginning is pretty innocuous, but there are a couple interesting points. You can follow along. You see the Latin in blue, the standard English translation in green. So I'll give you mine. It's not far off in line 1. Go beyond, down from, sorry, I skipped a line. However, the Lord said to Abraham, go beyond, go down from your land, down from the people you know, and down from the house of your father, into the land which I will point out, show to you. Now, interesting, it also holds the meaning which I will denounce to you or inform against for you. But I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's back up a minute to house of your father. It could be the house that his father runs as a pater familias. But when you look at Abraham's broader story, Terah, his father, travels with him out of Ur. So it doesn't sound like he would be leaving the house of his father if his father was bringing the house with him. So that makes me wonder if his father signed on into another household, if he is a brother within a household of a pater familias, and so the father decides to leave with him. That seems more consistent. I'm not sure at this point, but I have been working on a longer video. It's about Nehemiah and I wanted to find out what his great work was. There are many references in the beginning chapters of that, of the walling up, installing valve doors, bars, and locks on homes as part of Nehemiah's secret plan to seize Jerusalem. He told the king he was rebuilding it. That plan went another way. So I'm making a longer video about that. The monstrabo is interesting too. Again, I said it's point out, show. It could be teach, inform, but also inform against or denounce. Now, a lot of words in Latin can mean one thing and the opposite. For a lot of these, I found sarcasm is probably the answer. We can imagine probably somebody saying, "Oh yeah, that cake is good," and carrying a sarcastic tone with it. And over time, somebody who doesn't really understand sarcasm will think that good means shitty. Well, once that connection happens, both meanings are there. We can see in the dictionary, if we add that sarcastic line, that sarcastic tone, we can often hear which was the original meaning and which is the sarcastic meaning. Now, here, that doesn't really explain how it would be show, point out, and then become inform against, denounce. Sorry. The word monster also goes from something wonder, wonderful, a portent, to something monstrous, which has a definite connotation for us. It looks like that shift is connected to Polyphemus. I'll do another video about him. He's got a cool story in himself. But I don't hear sarcasm in this shift of meaning. So I don't know if it's a shift of experience or if it's a shift of perspective. It looks wondrous to some people and horrific to others. I'm not sure, but it's an interesting point. As we go down, we get to line 2. Now, faciamque te is a powerful start. So facio, they just translate as I make. Well, that's really missing the point of facio. Facio, facere, facie factum means to make or do, but it's really an idiom builder. And Latin uses a few different verbs for this purpose. Facio, fero, gero. They all combine with words to create a new conceptual meaning. A good example, iter facere, to make a journey. But it really means to march. And you often see these idioms, these new conceptual words, conceptual phrases, often go around ideas of power, the city, and in particular the military. We see this with idioms. We also see it with more complicated later nouns of the third, fourth, and fifth declension. Those are just groups of nouns that act in similar ways. There's 5 groups in Latin. The first group is like farming words. The second group is town words. Third declension is city words, military words. Fourth declension, more military words. Fifth declension, you get hope. I like that. So back to facio. So the facio being paired with the te gives me a clue when I dive into the dictionary, because the entry for facio is about an entire column in the dictionary. I found a good entry, facio plus a noun or pronoun tends to mean to give a chance or to grant permission. And when you hear this paragraph, this line, I think you'll agree it works. Here we go. And I will give you a chance amongst a great nation. I will speak kindly for you, and I will make noble your name, and you will have been spoken of kindly. Now, that last line, the eris que benedictus, they're reading as the verb to be in the future tense, eris, you will be, and then benedictus, blessed, but spoken kindly of is really a better. It's like, what is your reputation? Do people look at you and think, oh, that's a good guy, I can trust him and bring him into my society? Or do they look at you and think, oh no, you're scary, you're going to disrupt my society, I do not want you in my society? That's what we're talking about here with the Benedictus. I take it as a future perfect passive. You will have been spoken of kindly. That's your entry. You're coming in with a clean slate. They're going to think kindly of you. And then we hit the big one, right? Line 3. This is the one that was used as the hammer. Now, when we look at the English, they have added a relative pronoun that is not in the Latin. Now you might think, what is a relative pronoun? Well, it changes the entire meaning of the line. So let's take a look. Benedicam benedicentibus tibi. Now the Latin says, I will speak kindly of you. I will commend for you speaking kindly. In other words, it's a participle. It's advertising. It is modifying the tibi, the adjective, kindly. It's a participle acting as an adjective, modifying tibi. That gives you the circumstance that the person is acting when they're speaking kindly of them. It does not say, I will speak kindly for those who speak kindly to you. That would require a relative pronoun. That's what a relative pronoun is. Who, whom. In Latin, qui, quae, quod. Look at the Latin. There is no qui, no quae, no quod, and no form of it. There is no who there. The people talking kindly are the people I will talk kindly about. So if you maintain that good relationship, that good reputation, I will speak kindly of you. So now let's look at the whole line. I will speak kindly of you, commend for you speaking kindly, and I will speak ill for you, and in fact against you for speaking ill. All those of the earth who know will be spoken of kindly together. Now let's back up. The in te, they do that as in thee. That would be an ablative construction. That is not possible. When you have in plus a person, it is an accusative construction. Now the declension of the pronoun you is tu, tui, tibi, te. Both accusative and ablative are te. So they're kind of trying to do a switcheroo here. But in plus an accusative means against. And there is no circumstance where in is used with a person with the ablative. I've looked through my brain, my memory. I've looked through Dickinson's online. I've looked through a couple other reference points. Latin grammar is not that complicated. The book is about this thick, the entire book. There is no in plus the ablative when it's a person. So if this is in plus the accusative, it means against, into, onto, against. That is a very different meaning. And with that aquae there, and even, and also, and in fact, this is emphatic. If you do ill, if you curse, if you slander in this great nation, when I said you would not, I will speak against you. That makes sense to me. Now, this benedicentor phrase, it could be all plurals, but I take it as of earth as they do. But the universai is so powerful there. It means all together. It ties that whole phrase of those who know to speak kindly. They're all going to be praised together. And that's the message of our Dromos as well. Those who live in kindness will be spoken of kindly. And when you come right down to it, which is more believable? Is a deity, someone looking out for you, going to tell you, look, no matter how you act, I'm going to speak kindly of you? Or does it make more sense that the deity would say to you, look, I have your back as long as you mind your manners. But if you cannot, I'm sorry, I can't be with you. To me, that is the most hopeful message in the world. No blood guilt. It's all on us. There's forgiveness. We can move forward in kindness, but we're responsible for our own actions. I do love that last line. I'm working on another video in addition to Nehemiah, Sapientia. And I have to say, I do feel like the wise are returning. So I hope you'll check out another video. Thank you.